Hey guys, welcome back to Retro Gaming Rocks. Today I want to talk about two collections of Commodore 64 games that have come out in new consoles. Let's check it out. Hey, welcome back. So, for many years, I have been playing Commodore 64 games on the original hardware, on the actual C64. I have a whole setup with the floppy disk, with a tape drive, etc., etc. Also recently on the 64 Mini, which brings an amazing collection of games. And now, the C64 release for the Evercade. So in my last video, we went through this cartridge and talked about the collection of games that comes in the cartridge. And I talked about the ones that I recognize from years ago and that I still play on my Commodore, but also on the 64 Mini. And today I want to compare the quality of the collection between the 64 Mini and the Evercade release. Now, I understand that it is sort of an unfair comparison because there are 64 games here and only 14 in the Evercade cartridge. But I'm not comparing the number. I'm not making the comparison based on the number of games. I'm making the comparison based on the selection of games. Which selection, was better? What percentage of the games in the 64 Mini did I like? Versus what percentage of the games in the Evercade release did I like. So from that perspective, we can make a sort of, fair comparison between the two. Now, it doesn't mean that the Evercade collection is bad or anything like that. There's some games I love from here, some games that I've played before, but there's some games that I don't like, that I haven't played before. And just, not very familiar with them, but definitely some games that I really didn't care for. Now, the 64 Mini really did a great job. There are so many awesome games on this. So I want to go to the menu. I'm not going to show any gameplay because there's a million reviews out there for the 64 Mini, but I just want to go through the menu and look at some of the awesome games that there are in that collection, as well as I want to look at how many of the games on the Evercade are actually in the 64 Mini, and so from that perspective, we'll make a comparison. So let's check out the menu. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go through the menu here very quickly, and I'll talk about the games that I know and have played on the C64 Mini, and the ones that I haven't, well, I'll also point out which ones are on both the C64 Mini as well as on the Evercade cartridge. So the first one is Battle Valley. Yes, absolutely. This one is a great game. You drive a tank and a helicopter, and you got to shoot the enemy and not get killed. This is also found on the Evercade cartridge. Next is Boulder Dash. Wow, who hasn't played Boulder Dash if you're a retro gamer? Not only the 64, but also on other consoles. So it's a great game, a lot of fun to play. This one, to be honest, this is one of the ones I don't really care for. There's just really nothing to it. It's about breakdancing. No. California Games. Wow. Great game. A lot of fun. Play this a lot, not only on the 64, but also on other consoles. So it's a really good game in this collection. Chips Challenge. It's a little bit of a puzzle game. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not my type of game. So some of you might like it. Coil Cop. This is a fun game. Sort of a platformer. So you got to travel through a maze, through underground pipes. So this is a really cool game. Confusion. Not my type of game. This one, you gotta, you gotta move the ball forward and, shoot aliens. Um, uh, you know, um, Not a great game in my opinion. This one is really cool. Cyberdyne Warrior. It's a platformer game. Um, really good. So it's another fun game. Cybernoid is also really good. You gotta shoot the pirate ships and collect a lot of the stolen cargo. Cybernoid 2 also pretty good. Here you got space pirates, and again, you gotta shoot them and recover the cargo. Deflector, another game that is not much of my type of games that I like. Destroyer is a lot of fun. So you got to complete missions. You got to land troops. You got to take over supply runs. You got to make sure that your destroyer is not sunk. Everyone's Wally really didn't play this game. I don't think I would like this game too much. So maybe you guys would. Firelord is pretty good. It's exploration, and you got to use magic against ghosts. So it's a pretty cool game. Gateway to Apshai. I love all the Apshai games. These are dungeon crawlers, adventure games. Super fun. One of the pioneering dungeon crawlers. Gribbly's Day Out. It's just kind of a silly game. It's not bad. It's not great either, but it's not a bad game. Heartland is really cool. Another adventure game that I really enjoy playing. Hero Robotics is sort of a platforming game, also pretty cool and not bad at all. This one I wasn't really into this game, so this is one of the ones I would say not for me. Hunter's Moon. You gotta destroy the structures. It's not bad. It's not great either, but it is kind of fun. I'm not gonna say it's a terrible game, but not one of my favorites. Hysteria. Oh, this is a great game. So I really enjoy playing this game. Impossible Mission, one of the most popular games on the 64. Wow, you can't go wrong with this game. It is a challenging game. It's not easy at all, but it's one of the most popular games that came out on the 64. A lot of people love this game. It's pretty challenging. And then you got the second part, also really good. So you can't go wrong with these two games. Oops, I skipped one. Another good game, IO, is a shooter. So pretty good game. You gotta fire and also drop bombs. You get bonuses and extra lives. If you as you go through the levels. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great game. Wow, Jumpman 1 and 2. You can't beat these games. Actually, Jumpman 1 is on the Evercade cartridge. So again, a great selection for that game. So both games are really cool. I played these a lot back in the day. They can be pretty challenging, but they're a lot of fun. Mega Apocalypse, exploration. You gotta grab objects. Not a great game, not bad either. I could say that it's playable. So Mission AD, it's kind of fun. You got to destroy robots and avoid from getting killed. Not a bad game. Monty on the Run. This is a cool platformer. Lot of fun. Netherworld, another really fun game. This game is really good. Again, another great choice for this collection. Nobby the Aardvark. This is a legendary C64 game. It's not super exciting, but it is a fun game to play for a little bit. I wouldn't say it's a bad selection for this collection. This is one of my favorite ones, Notes of Yesod, and there's another one that I really love, The Arts of Yesod, and you're an astronaut, going from different platforms, trying not to get killed, killing the enemies. Really fun game. Both of the games are really good. Uh, and Paradroid, a lot of you have played Paradroid, so it's a pretty good game. Again, another great selection for the 64 Mini. And one of my favorite racing games on the 64, Pit Stop. It's got a split screen. This is one of the racing games that set a standard for a lot of racing games that were to come in other consoles. This together with Pole Position, two great games on the 64. This one I would say is not a game that I really care for. Robin of the Wood. This is a pretty cool game. It's an adventure game. Not a bad game at all. Great choice for the 64 Mini. This one, it's kind of weird. It's a sort of futuristic game. Not my favorite, but bit challenging. Not a bad game. Skate Crazy is a fun game. This is a really fun game. School Days, another one that I don't really care for. So I'm just gonna skip over that. This one is a pretty cool game. It's not amazing, but you fly through a maze searching for treasure. It's not one of my favorites, but it's not a bad game. Speedball's a lot of fun. So a futuristic strategy game of agility and strength. Not a bad game at all. Speedball 2 is also pretty cool. So I think there was a movie about this, if I'm not mistaken. But they're pretty fun game. This one, not my cup of tea. Other people might like this sort of puzzle games. Not me. Okay. I do not like sports game. So I'm not saying this game is bad. It's just that I don't play sports games, so not my thing. Here's a basketball one. Again, not my thing. Some of you might like it. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but not my thing. And then soccer, again, not my thing. So some of you might like it. Some of you might think it's a great game. That's fine. I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't like it. This I like, Summer Games. So Summer Games 1 and 2. I played Summer Games for the first time on the Apple IIe. This is a great game. Very enjoyable. So no complaints here. Super Cycle, another super fun racing game. This reminds me of Pole Position, except with a motorcycle instead of a car. So a lot of fun playing this game. Sword of Fargal, this is a dungeon crawler. I really like this game as well. Temple of Apshai trilogy. Again, the Temple of Apshai trilogy, all the games are amazing. I really enjoy them. Again, there's one of the Apshai games in the Evercade cartridge, so that was a good selection. And this is the Arc of Yesod. We saw the Notes of Yesod before. This is another one that's really good, a lot of fun, so I enjoy this game too. Thing on a String. Not a bad game. In my opinion, not a great one either. It is playable. Some people like it. I played it for a few minutes, not something I want to play for. This is a cool game, Tower Toppler. You got to demolish the towers. This is a cool game. It's not bad at all. This one is not a bad game. You got to keep the ball on the sort of the highway there, and you got to control the ball so that it doesn't fall through the openings on the highway. It's okay, it's fun for a little bit. It's not a terrible game. This one is really cool. This is a nice shooter, so I really enjoyed this game. West Bank, no, not really my type of game. This one is really cool. Who Dares Wins 2. You got a machine gun, and you gotta shoot your way through within garrisons. You gotta shoot grenades as well as you move forward through occupied territory. So this is a fun action game. And who can forget Winter Games? This is a really cool game. Again, a lot of the this is one of the early Winter Games video games on computers. Then this set the pace for a lot of the future skiing games that came out. So this is one of the fun games in this collection. World Games is a lot of fun too. You compete in different competitions of sort of unorthodox types of sports, but also sports like weightlifting, powerlifting. So pretty fun. Synapse or Synapse, it's a shooter. I love shooters, so I have no complaints about this game. Great choice for this collection. And Alley Cat, which is also on the Evercade cartridge. This is a super fun game. You gotta fly through this alley and avoid obstacles while you're shooting at the enemy, so you gotta be careful you don't crash. So this is a really cool game. And Anarchy, this is sort of a puzzle game, but you gotta run away from these tanks through this sort of maze. It's not bad. It's pretty good, but not incredibly great. Avenger, of course, it's a fun game. Good selection as well. So there you have it, guys. That was a quick stroll through the menu of the C64 Mini. And in my previous video, again, we looked at the menu of the cartridge from Evercade. And a lot of the games are on the 64 Mini. But, overall, I have to be honest, I really prefer the collection on the 64 Mini. There are so many awesome games on the 64 Mini. And what I hope happens is that Blaze Entertainment takes a look at the collection here in the 64 Mini and sort of starts planning, new releases for the Evercade, because there are so many awesome games that were released for the 64 that it is really difficult to, make a selection of 14 or 15 games from that huge number and expect everybody to like it. That's not possible. It's never going to happen. There were over 10,000 games and software released for the Commodore 64, and there are still games being made and released by independent developers, so a lot of homebrews out there, and some amazing games. So I hope that Evercade also takes advantage of the fact that there's so many games being released and releases a homebrew cartridge for the Evercade. So that would be amazing. Again, this is not such a fair comparison because the number of games here, but I'm not, again, comparing the number of games in each one. I'm comparing the quality of the selection. And while they both have good and bad games, I think the selection of games that was made for the 64 Mini, surpasses that collection that was selected for the Evercade. But I know Blaze Entertainment will probably release new collections, and so I think it will be great to have more 64 games on cartridges. So guys, let me know if you have the 64 Mini and also the Evercade cartridge. Let me know what you think about the individual collections. Did you like one more than the other? Let me know if you still play the 64 Mini because there's so many great games in it. And if you watch the video, please consider subscribing, clicking the like button and the notification bell so that you can stay up to date on videos that I upload. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.